We are so thankful for the 14th annual Northeast Texas Poetry Contest. We are so thankful to Beverly Kelly, who came up with a lot of money so we could do this in the manner we like to do it. We're thankful for Gerald and Mary Mowry for the patrons of Honors Northeast. We're thankful for the college, for Vice President Rose, and for our judges who have a combined 30 years of experience behind them, Vice President Ann Ingram, and Professor Smith, who's here somewhere. Professor Swan, our judges. I'm thankful to God for Northeast Texas, our country land, our heartland here. I'm not a very astute judge of nature, but I was looking around lately, and at Taggart Park, actually, I saw a loblolly pine for the first time. They are sort of identified by a rich, brocaded, russet brown floor, but what I'm really interested in is like the bark. The bark is kind of like in shapes, like states on a map. And I find like little colors in them, like red, blue, green, all the colors in a loblolly pine. I read that they have a genome that's 7 times larger than the human genome, so God really put a lot of work into those loblolly pines. But what is so neat about them is that they sort of suggest something. They are subtle, they are not blatant, but they are suggestive, they are evocative, they seem to symbolize something else. And I think, when I think of Northeast Texas, that's what I think of. There's a lot here that's sort of subtle, but it really evokes a great deal. Is it the green pastures with still waters that we have here, the church and school towns where people kind of wave? Is it the fact that we can have these dramatic thunderstorms with Earth's camera flashing and even a few winter whiteouts and still have the luxury of calling ourselves Texan? Is it because the lines are short and the parking free and the traffic relatively light? Is it because we have a kind of connection with people, if we're in the same town at least, that we didn't think we had? Like the loblolly tree, I think there's a lot of great things here. We maybe didn't get our best piece of architecture in 2009 when Bo Pilgrim put that great chapel on Dallas Baptist University instead of bringing it here, although he still gave us the Witness Tower and the chateau. We don't maybe have the really, heart-gripping natural scenes, but like the loblolly pine, there's so much that suggests something wonderful, that suggests something great, and I'm so thankful to have been here since 1994, where the Fridays are so uncluttered, the Saturdays unstressed, and the Sundays ethereal. Thank you for all of you who tried to answer the question where we are. Thank you for all of you who tried to answer the question, what are we doing here? And indeed, what am I doing here? I'm going to introduce Professor Swan.
Thank you, Andrew, very much. It has been my great pleasure to help with this, the judging of these poems for the last 14 years, along with other members of the English department. So we've had fun doing this. This year, we put a step in that we never had really put in before. We always said, and we always knew, that poetry should be read aloud, and we always read it aloud to ourselves. But it wasn't the same when somebody else read it to us, so we had other judges to read the poem. It was a different experience. We thought, wow, we really need the creators of the poetry to read the poems to us. So that's a fair thing to do, the more honest thing to do, and it worked really, really well. So we had the front runners all come in and read their poems to us, and it was a different experience the third time. So we learned something from that, I think. So I think we'll keep that step in the future. The first category that we were to present, are going to present, had to do with the adult poetry writers. So one of those guys is not here today. Judge Hilton was a winner, he's not here. But we have one poem that we really wanted to kind of highlight, and that is called Texas-Sized Words. So we're going to ask Mr. Israel Perez to come up and read his poetry. You notice it's up? Yeah, now it's up on the screen. So it has a shape, it has color. That was a wonderful piece of it, but besides that, it's also a well-written poem. Right. I'm sorry if I said it, I'm a little nervous. I'm trying.
Pecan trees with summer breeze, Dallas festivals and county fairs, Rainy days with sunny vibes, all within the same hour. Cedar trees, picnics at the lakes, armadillos and blue jays. Blue bonnets on Interstate 30. Green gas and clear skies. Long days and short nights. Birds chirping and dogs barking. Neighbors smiling, friends laughing. All is good in the Lone Star State. Nowhere else will there be another Northeast State.
Thank you. Thank you.
In the student division, Israel tied for fourth place. That's a fourth place poetry there for him. We did enjoy the shape, the colors, and we certainly enjoyed him reading to us and putting the breaks where he thought that they would best go. So we've done that. We have another drink now in the adult division. Mr. Joe Dan Boyd will read his poem to us today. And we're going to have it on the screen. So we'll just turn it over to Joe Dan Boyd.
Anthem to Hope, requisite colon, subtitle, Living Distantly in a Northeast Texas Perpetual Pandemic. With contrite hearts to thee, our King, we turn who often strayed. Accept the sacrifice we bring, and let the plague be stayed. William Bullock, Songs of the Church, 1854. Came the calendar in all its innocence, 2020 masquerading as a normal year. Social distance, safety masks, quarantines, Northeast Texas, and all its pandemic fear. It was the worst of times for us, 2020, watching our own sad lives evolve. Intimacy was the first casualty. Kept our distance, felt our very lives evolve. Caricatures of ourselves, 6 feet apart, almost like shells of our former selves, without the catalyst, closeness, the conversation, both now discouraged, quarantine, show. Incredibly, it came July 2021. We heard the CDC decision to reverse course. Mask up again, even with the vaccine shot. Giving the lie to quarantine without force. Is COVID-19 to be our perpetual plague? The pandemic that never ends at all? Is Dr. Fauci to stand in for Lucy, holding a Charlie Brown COVID football, pulling it away like a Peanuts cartoon, ending one pandemic, starting another. Just when we drop our masks and end isolation to get close again to each other. More than 630,000 U.S. dead from COVID. As the pandemic body count goes on and on, florists must make funeral wreaths from wedding flower bouquets come undone. Vaccines touted as our ultimate final salvation from surveillance of our every move. But even medicines have limitations, including freedom from side effects to prove. Breakthrough infection analysis is the term for a virus itself masking up like a chameleon. The Delta variant breaks through our vaccines. Dr. Fauci fears more lurking on the horizon. For some, the pandemic, social constraints, even the virus itself seem unreal. They publicly denounce all as an evil hoax. Some of those in denial even died of COVID's zeal. Helpless but not hopeless is the watchword. Churchill's advice to a war-torn British nation: never give up, never, never, never. Always and already adopted by a perpetual pandemic population. Some stopped worrying and just started living with COVID. Wear masks if legally or politely asked to do so. Keep proper distancing, even if they don't agree that science backs any such requirement, though. Even vaccine hesitancy can be tolerated, since reality can make a very convincing case. Hospitalizations, high death rates, all this urge vaccines. For some, a vaccine booster is already in place. Hope persists despite more than 164 million U.S. cases of COVID-19 virus to date. Hope prevails because vaccines can be adapted to deal with evolving new virological traits. Hope, said the poet Emily Dickinson, is the thing with feathers that perches and so sings a tune without the words and never stops at all. Hope is also the thing that we see from our leaders, our clergy, though many have gone unheard. Pastors like Kelly Williams concede that COVID-19 has already prompted this question: is anxiety our new normal? Ask or not. Are we in an emotional prison cell, dank, dark? Contract hope, pass it on to others, or does hope offer a different lot? Soft as the voice of an angel, breathing a lesson unheard. Hope with a gentle persuasion whispers her comforting word. Wait till the darkness is over. Wait till life's tempest is done. Hope with the sunshine tomorrow after the shower is gone. Whispering hope, oh, how welcome a voice, making my heart in its sorrow rejoice. Alice Hawthorne, Worldwide Church Songs, 1947.
New poet laureate of Northeast Texas.
I told you to give me that title. And after that, we have Dr. Presley who's going to bring some observations and some remarks to you. Dr. Lisa Presley received her PhD from Texas Tech University. She has performed research on Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, and the role of complex proteins in mammalian systems. She enjoys noting regional differences in nature and has visited a great number of national and state parks. Dr. Lisa Preston.
Good morning. I started at Northeast Texas Community College in the fall of 2019. That first semester was spent assimilating, learning the mechanics, the ins and outs of the college. That comfort level behind me, I began the spring semester of 2020 ready, invigorated. In order to help students see the relevancy of what they learn in my class, I teach microbiology. I like to include real-world applications of the topic that we're discussing. And so, with great excitement, in the spring of 2020, I entered my microbiology class and announced they discovered a new virus in Wuhan, China. This is exciting. We should follow this virus and see what happens. Let's see what develops this semester. And so the students were tasked. Each time they arrive in class, they should bring with them information that they gathered throughout the last class meeting and present that to us. Let's keep up with this. And so we did. We started out with numbers provided by the CDC. Who's sick? Where is this virus now? Started in China. We watched it progress. We reported numbers in Italy. We watched the virus be named. We watched the disease the virus caused be named. I remember a student came to class one morning and he said, I work at a local paint store and we just sold out of respirators. A man came in and purchased all of them. He's mailing them to a family member who lives in China. I was taken aback. Then we reported numbers in the United States. The disease was spreading. Right before spring break, a student came into the lab and she said, I have a friend in Dallas and he told me that he had heard that we're going to be forced to stay at home. Do you think that'll ever happen here? I said, no way. We didn't come back from spring break because we were staying at home. The country had shut down. We worked from home, except for those who were in essential businesses. We attended classes from home. Zoom became a household word. We watched in horror as disease, suffering, and death were reported. Social media, print media, the nightly news was filled with images of hospitals that were overwhelmed by patients. And makeshift morgues popped up at an alarming rate. It gave us pause. Could this be happening in the United States? It was unbelievable. We worried if we would run out of toilet paper while nursing homes and hospitals were running out of personal protective equipment. What was happening in our world? We listened as the numbers changed from city to city, and we listened as the advice on how to best combat our new viral enemy changed from day to day. But one thing through it all remained constant: the unwavering care of nurses on the front line, their commitment to provide patient care was astonishing. They put their own needs aside while making sure the needs of their patients were met. They pushed a wheelchair to the window so that the grandfather could see family members he hadn't seen for months. They held the iPad so that a grandma could see her newborn grandbaby for the first time and visit with them using FaceTime. And nurses held the hand of their patient who was drawing their last breath so they wouldn't die alone. I recount my firsthand experiences of the onset of the pandemic because I'm a professor of microbiology. And each semester I'm privileged to walk alongside students who aspire to be nurses. The opportunities that Northeast Texas Community College provide for those who would like to serve as nurses are really quite vast. We train professional care technicians, certified nurses assistants, licensed vocational nurses. We award degrees of associate degrees in nursing, and we offer an associate science degree in pre-baccalaureate nursing. It prepares students who'd like to transfer and get a baccalaureate degree in nursing. We equip students to pass board exams to become registered nurses. And our programs, though they are quite successful. In fact, we have students and graduates of our nursing programs scattered throughout our community. You'll find them in hospitals, clinics, long-term care facilities. They are making an impact on the patients for whom they provide care. And as their teacher, who gets to walk alongside them for one semester as they learn microbiology, I'd like to think that I make an impact too. And that's just one reason why being a part of this college, of Northeast Texas Community College, is rewarding to me. Thank you.
Lisa, slow down. We're going to shift for just a moment. We actually have two categories in this event this year. This category started, I think, about 4 years ago, and it deals with images. Now, poetry often deals with images painted with words, but these images are going to be painted with something else. I guess pixels is what they're using. And there are 3 winners in this particular category, and we'll start with the first one. And they're going to say a couple of things about the image to tell you what their take on it is. I do need to mention that these images were ranked or judged by Malaya Hall, our art instructor here. And her art being shown here in front of you right now. She has a showing coming up in the next couple of weeks. So that's, you're welcome to stop and take a look at that after the program. So the third place winner in the image group, is called The Sun Piercing Through the Clouds on Route 11 on the way to Winsboro. It's done by Jordan Chapin. Is Jordan Chapin, is she here?
Well, hi, I'm Jordan, and I was actually on my way home from Winsboro, and I had to pull over to take a picture of just the sun piercing through the sky because I really wasn't expecting that, and it was just really cool to see, and it was kind of an encouraging sight to me, actually. So, thank you.
Oh, y'all, let's get over here where we've been getting on. That way I won't get there. That's okay.
The image winning second place is titled Farmer in Franklin County, and it's done by Evan Sears.
Hello, my name is Evan Sears, and that is a picture of my grandfather working on his tractor. He's actually here right now in the crowd. This actually ties into my poem, and hopefully I'll get to read it as well so you can get a picture of what he's like.
little bit south of Winnsboro, Texas, is a little place that we call Kingtown. And there's located still today the Kinney Chapel Methodist Church. That's the right title. And Jodan Boyd grew up there. So Jodan has an image titled Kinney Methodist Chapel in Wood County. Jodan Boyd. Tell us about it.
I was born in this church. My grandfather founded this church. It has, for the past 25 years, been branded as the quintessential country church. It was founded in February of 1900, a few years after my grandfather came from Alabama, seeking greener pastures, and he found them here. As it happens today, the pastor of Tennis Chapel United Methodist Church, Reverend Michael Moore, is here. Raise your hand. Press. So this is where I received all of my theology, not altogether from the sermons, often more in the words to the songs, the poems. Although a great deal of it did come from the sermons, the things I remember most came from the congregational songs that I heard in this church, and that still ring out to this day, every Sunday, at which Reverend Michael Moore brings a sermon each Sunday. Still today, 121 years later. As I say, I was born there. I expect to die in that church.
Y'all gonna be in my picture? Y'all standing like that. Dr. Mr. Swan, come on the back up here.
Here's your chance, man. You get to do it. Okay, Mr. Sears is going to read his poem. He won 4th place, I believe. It's the cowboy poem, right?
The nature of cowboy.
Nature of cowboy. It's an exceptional. I was really touched by that. It reminded me of my father, who was also a cowboy. He died a few years ago. So I enjoyed that poem a lot. So we'll let you do your poem now.
Great. Oh, here we go. Nature of a Cowboy by Red and Sabine. What is the nature of a cowboy? What makes them who they are? Is it boots, the hat, the spurs, the horse? No, it's their unwavering drive. The drive to ranch, the drive to farm, the drive to pick others up when they fall. The drive to get to work and greet their old friend, the morning sun. Sure, the clothing is iconic, from the Stetson hat to the pearl snap shirt, and from the Wrangler jeans to the area boots. However, to them, that's just clothing. The reason they are who they are is a lot simpler than expected. Nature waits for no man, and they have to help. That is the nature of the cowboy.
third place winner. The poem is titled Hidden Gems of Northeast Texas by Skylar Ponder. Skylar?
Have you ever noticed Northeast Texas? There are many hidden gems to be found. A church pastor whose sermons perplex us. The choir's hymns of praise spread faith around. Perfect sweet tea only grandma can make. Picked pecans made into a homemade pie. Fishing for a big catch at Lone Star Lake. Eyes rising past the pine trees to the sky. Once noisy cicadas lull you to sleep, while humid air gently blows through the night. Wise parents that make you work for your keep. A small town college that teaches what's right. Though these things may not seem monumental, these gems define what's most important.
We are so thankful that Reverend Clint Davis is here to speak. He, I believe, has spoken to more people than anyone else in the history of Mount Pleasant. Maybe he wouldn't like me saying that, but he has certainly been the pastor at First Baptist since 1992 at Mount Pleasant, and he has spoken at a very large number of baccalaureates, maybe all of them, and as well as Chamber of Commerce and everything else. So thank you so much, Dr. Reverend Clint Davis, for taking the time to come here.
I am honored to be with you today and to have had the opportunity to listen to the poetry and to see the images. Thank you for your words, very encouraging words. One of my favorite hymns you concluded with Whispering Oak. What a great message for us all. As Dr. Yox mentioned, I came to this community in 1992 at the age of 32 with the hope of lasting 5 years. If you knew First Baptist Church's history, you knew that was an auspicious goal because they had a history of recycling preachers on a very regular basis. So we made it to 5, and then we continued on. Not sure what to do at that point, but we continued on. I remember well that night we drove home from the time we came to preach in view of a call. That's what we Baptists call it. You come and try out, and if they like you, they vote to hire you. If they don't like you, they keep looking. We were on our way home. We had just come past the college road, and my middle child, 8 years old at the time, as we were talking about the possibility of moving, she said, "Daddy, if we move there, do I have to talk like them?" And I said, "Baby, I think it'll take care of itself." And it did. It certainly did. And they, all 3 of them, grew up in this place, Mount Pleasant, Titus County. It is a place that I began to call home very quickly. I could describe it in idyllic terms, and they wouldn't be entirely accurate. We could talk about the beautiful landscape, and it is here. We could talk about the Mayberry-ish